Good morning and welcome to this session of the live coaching classes conducted by the Board of Studies of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Before we begin, as usual, since we made it a practice, let's have the small prayer. Sahana Vavatu, Sahano Bhunaktu, Saha Viryankaravavahai, Tejasvina Vadhitamastuma, Vidvishavahai, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Fantastic. And let's move on. I have a lot of people who have put good morning here. We have Dhyanesh, Jyotija, Ms. Kushi Shrotriya, Mr. Alok Shiblani, Manoj Kumar Thakur, Ilakia, welcome madam, Harshit, Sunil, welcome all of you. And today we are going to continue on our discussions on the topic related to accounts of companies. Dhyanesh has a question. I don't know if I've answered it. 129, whether it has imprisonment. He is raising it. I have a feeling that it has. Okay? Because recently they had a huge amendment in 2020. I think we saw that in 128. You see, 128. Punishment by way of imprisonment has been omitted from many sections. From many sections, specifically omitted. It is not that the punishment by way of imprisonment was globally removed from all sections. So when that happened, I did do some research and I ensured that all sections where imprisonment has been removed, I have removed it. So here it is there. So to answer Dhyanesh's question, yes, it is there. Okay, for 129. Financial statements, it is there. Okay, if it has been removed, I would have noted it, but again, I'm assuming. So kindly, you can also see, I suggest, in case you want to be 100% sure, Dhyanesh, you don't have to really trust me. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. All of us can be wrong. If from these lectures, if you have learned nothing, you should have learned that humility. That everybody can be wrong. I can be wrong. By the same token, you can be wrong. Nobody is so perfect that we are God. Nobody is God. God is perfect. Perfection is unto God alone. Human beings, by definition, are imperfect. Once you accept this imperfection, we will start working towards perfection. And that is your life. Sorry to give you this philosophy in the morning. Once you accept the imperfection of your life, you will know where you are lacking. Then our entire life is a journey towards perfection. Continuously improving ourselves, moving on with our life, changing and growing whenever necessary. Once you are in this pattern, you will not argue with people. You will not waste time. If you are wrong, you will accept it, move on. In case you are right and the other person accepting, chalo, let us move on. What is there? Even then, there is no need. Good show. Thank you, Dhyanesh. In case I am wrong, check me up and tell me, where will you go for the original knowledge? As far as Companies Act is concerned, refer to the BARE Act. Of course, your institute material is a wonderful resource. Board of Studies material is a wonderful research, well compiled, carefully and meticulously prepared, rely on it. But if in case of doubt, you want a second check, then the fountainhead is the BARE Act itself, which is available in the internet, mca.gov.in. So kindly make it a point to go there and also check up in case you have certain doubts. Okay, this is my humble suggestion. But otherwise, Institute Board of Studies material is more than enough for your preparation. Institute ka material and practice manual, more than enough for your preparation for this subject. Okay. And of course, in case you are going to rely on these PowerPoint presentations that I'm sharing for quick revision. Okay. So read the material once, go through practice manual, see the important areas, read the material once, then come back here to my notes, quick revision. So 3 revisions, you are almost ready for us. I'm sure Aslam is not here, but he would immediately confirm that is exactly what he is doing. I'm sure he's doing that. Abdul ji, welcome. And thank you for confirming. Yeah, that is what. See, 128, a good thing. We again stress that point that imprisonment is still there in 129. So we've also seen periodical financial results. As of now, it has not been prescribed. No form has been prescribed. It is not prescribed. But the provision is there in the Act for the thing. Okay, from now on, as people join, I may not be able to say good morning. So kindly, those who come a little later, all of you together, good morning. Okay, now we move on to another interesting and important section. The financial statement, the board's report, etc. How it should be presented, how it should be authentication. Authentication means, authentic means real. Authentic in English has another meaning, has a meaning in English called real. Okay, real. So how to know that something is real? It has to be authenticated. Usually authentication is done by signing, signature. So on a document, when somebody signs it, that means that they have seen it and they will not later on be able to say, it is not my document. So signature is the usual method, physically affixed on the paper on which that content is printed. But today we have moved beyond that. I make this point carefully because today we are gone beyond paper and signature. Today we are on electronic forms or electronic documents and digital signatures, right? But again, a digital signature, once a digital signature is affixed electronically using user ID and password, it is as good as a physical signature. In fact, it's even more powerful, I would say, because physical signature, somebody could argue that it is forged. But a digital signature, if affixed with your user ID and password, see, you cannot later on come back and say, no, it was not done, Donkey did it. But then why did you allow Donkey to do it? So if your name is there, if your user ID password is there, it is yours. Which is why, remember, your user ID and password are powerful and important things to be kept very, very carefully. Especially when you join a large organization and are given a responsible position, please protect your password very, very carefully, so that through your inadvertence, somebody should not gain access to the data of the organization. That is exactly the point. Sometimes signatures can be claimed to be forged, for which there are clear methods of deciding. There are experts who know, who will then give their opinion. Many court cases are decided based on this only, whether it is forged or not. That is why I'm saying digital signature is a far more better protection. Why I went into this elaborate discussion? Because today authentication happens by digital signature also. But by and large, even today, one set of the financial statement has to be signed by the board of directors, on behalf of the board of directors. Financial statement, including consolidated financial statement, CFS abbreviation, consolidated financial statements, if any, because if there is no subsidiary or joint venture or associated enterprise, there is no question of a CFS, only standalone. When there are no subsidiaries, joint ventures, associated enterprise, etc., those financial statements are called standalone, only the companies. If there are such entities, when they are combined and consolidated, that is called consolidated financial statement. This is called standalone financial statement. Okay. So everything has to be approved by the board. Okay. Means they should be approved by the board and then they should be signed on behalf of the board of directors. So even now the Act insists that it should be signed. Later on, when we upload it, the form is uploaded, digital signatures are affixed. But still, there should be a signed copy of the financial statement. And it should be signed on behalf of the board of directors. So, thank you. And for that, Mr. Shankaran, thank you. Iniya Kalai Vanakkam from Nellore. Wow, that's great. Thank you. And welcome, sir. Dhyanesh again. Signature can be for you already seen. Good morning, Mr. Patsardi. Excellent. Welcome. Sunday morning, you are investing for your learning. That's great. Welcome. So, now, who can sign or who should sign? If there is a chairperson, then chairperson were authorized by the board. So, if there is a chairperson, straight away chairperson. In case chairperson is not there, then 2 directors, out of which 1 shall be managing director. See, even today, generally companies do not have a chairperson. See, this may not be relevant to you now. When you come to final, directors, etc., we'll talk about chairperson and then MD. So the idea is they should be alag. Okay, today, of course, in India, we have this foolish designation called Chairman and Managing Director, CMD. Only in India we have that. Nowhere else in the world you will find Chairman and Managing Director, because these roles are alag roles. Chairman would be the Chairman of the board and the Chairman of the company, Chairperson of the company, if you can say. Her role or his role would be monitoring. So the MD would have to report to this person in the board meeting. MD will take care of the day-to-day management. He has substantial powers. He is the most, it's similar to President and Prime Minister. Okay, similar to President. So the chairperson's role should be more of a monitoring than actually engaged in the day-to-day matters. Also, the chairperson today would invariably be an independent director. He should not be a regular director or family director. So if there is a chairperson, that person would sign. Otherwise, 2 directors, out of which one shall be MD. Okay, MD should sign. These, either chairperson or 2 directors, out of which one MD. If there is a CEO, CEO should sign. If there is a CFO, Chief Financial Officer, that person should also sign. And of course, our good friend, the company secretary, being a key managerial personnel, should also sign. Okay. So these people should sign. Invariably, we find most cases, 75% of the cases, the company will not have a chairperson, CEO, CFO, company secretary. Then 2 directors will sign, out of which one shall be the managing director, if they need. This is how it is. Remember, at the board meeting, the accounts are approved by the board, then signed. On that day or on a later day, only auditor will sign. Auditor signs after the board signs. Board authenticates it, then only the auditor signs the balance sheet. Later on, when you come to auditing, we will again see signing of the balance sheet by the statutory auditor. That comes later. Or even on the same day. Morning board meeting, evening auditor, so afternoon post-lunch auditor signs it. Whatever. But the timing should be, this should be after that, is the point. Second one will be any director. So long as is any, again, I think you are having this confusion always, whether independent director can sign. That is your basic question. Any director can sign. Okay. The underlying question in Abdul's question I can see is whether independent director can sign. Yeah. See, again, Mr. Abdul, independent directors generally will not get into this. They will not sign. See, they can sign, but they will say, sorry, I will not sign. Okay, so I think practically you should understand. Simply asking whether independent director can sign, whether independent director can do anything that a director can do. Right? But he may not. He will normally not get into this stuff. He will say, sorry, ask one of your regular directors to sign. Okay. Good. What is the meaning on behalf, board of directors will say? Yeah, because the board of directors is a group of people. It could be up to 15 people could be in the board of directors. All the 15 will not sign. No. Only this chairperson or 2 guys only will sign. So they will be signing on behalf of the board of directors. On behalf of the board, chairperson who is a member of the board will sign it. Or 2 directors who are members of the board will sign it on their behalf. Out of the 15, chairperson is also there. Or 2, all the directors are there. So if there is a chairperson, he will sign. Okay. So chairperson is a member of the board. Directors are members of the board. So on behalf of the board, let us say there are 15 people, all of them not signing. But the 2 people are going to sign. Or chairperson is going to sign. Okay. Can more than 2? Don't ask question like this, sir. Sir, if there is enough paper, space is there, all of them sign. Who is preventing? These are all minimum. Generally, it's not done, but enjoy. What is there? If 5 of them want to sign, let them sign. In fact, that is better for the auditor. If I am the auditor, I will say all of you sign. The law says 2. If you want to have more, less you cannot do. That is all. Okay. Very nice questions you are all asking. That is all I can say. Okay. Financial statement, board's report, etc. Now, authentication of financial statements continued. Now, understand how the sequence happens. Board of directors meeting, financial statement tabled. That's called tabled. Remember, what are the financial statements? Unfortunately, it is given in singular, plural. Our MCA people's in absolute lack of knowledge of English plays havoc with the Companies Act. Anyway, That is for God and the Parliament to decide, not for me. I am a mere citizen and a teacher. My job is only to teach the law with all the grammatical errors that they have introduced. Anyway, coming to the point. Board meeting, financial statements are tabled. What are they? Balance sheet, profit and loss, or income and expenditure, statement of changes in equity, cash flow statement, then notes. All of them put together become the financial. Now, the board of directors will give its report. Remember, that will also be signed at this meeting only. So, financial statement, board of directors report. Got it? Now, the auditor will then sign the balance sheet and issue his report, which we'll be seeing in the next topic. Auditor, he will be issuing his report. So the auditor's report has a specific format. All that we'll be seeing it in the next topic. So don't raise a question now. More so, if you are also preparing for the paper called auditing, you would be an expert in that area by now. But paragraph by paragraph, you should know how the audit report should be drafted. And each one is a legal statement. Finally, bottom line, the auditor confirms that the balance sheet and profit and loss account reveal a true and fair view. And he signs. Auditor signs. Auditor only one man will sign. Partner of that firm will sign. Or sole proprietor, he will sign. On behalf of the firm, he will put the firm's registration number, FRN, issued by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and his own membership number. Okay? Very, very powerful number. Once you become a member, it will become I hope it will become a very important number for you. Because my number is 26588. 26588. You cannot forget it. Because especially members in practice, it will never go out of our memory. Every member will remember his membership number. Maybe in service, some of these people will forget, but even they will remember the membership number. I rarely found a chartered accountant because he has struggled so hard to get that number now. So we will not forget that number. So that will be mentioned. That is a unique number now. Wherever, see, that way as a member of the institute, I can always be located. Once you know that I am a member of the institute, you can go to the institute and get my number, and you can no need for my number also. You can search through name, you can get me. Okay, I'm available on that record. It's a public record available with the institute. So the auditor's report shall be attached. Okay, there is a big difference between attached and annex, which I already made. Attached means it is not stapled together. It is clipped. That is, the auditor's report is taken and clipped. Right? In fact, the board of directors report is also attached. My dear friends, repeating, board of directors report is also attached. Whereas P&L, statement of changes in equity, CFS, cash flow statement, all the entire notes are all annexed. Notes are annexed. Okay, P&L is annexed, which means all documents which are annexed to the balance sheet, the auditor is certifying. The auditor's report and a certificate extends to any financial information or any information given in the balance sheet, and all documents annexed to the balance sheet are forming part of the balance sheet. Whereas board of directors report is attached. So I have nothing to do with it. Whatever they say in their board of directors report, you read it with a pinch of salt. I am not certifying like that. Got it? Yeah. So, again, Mr. Abdul, please do not ask question like this. You didn't also. You kindly make the question here, proper question, and I will answer it. Okay? Good. Excellent. Thank you. Can more than 2 directors sign financial? Have you already seen that? You didn't agree. I don't know what that is. What the question is, and Dhyanesh has answered it. So that is the end of. I don't have to bother about that question. The word circulated. Where should we be circulated? We'll see that. We'll come to that. A signed copy of every financial statement, including consolidated financial statement, if any, shall be issued, circulated, or published, along with a copy each of any notes annexed to or forming part of the financial statement, auditor's report, and board's. So balance sheet, the whole thing, circulated to the members. Who else? Every member is entitled to a copy. Obviously, in those days, we used to send the annual report. See, later on when you go to management and administration, you will talk about AGM. So at every AGM, we will be adopting, the members will be adopting the financial statement. They'll be adopting it. Means what? The board of directors will be presenting it to them after authenticating it and signing it. The members will go through it, and if they are satisfied, they will adopt it. They will adopt the financial statements. They can also refuse to adopt. More about it when we come there. So once in fact, you will study that in management and administration. Whether adopted or not, in management and administration, we will see that now. Whether adopted or not, you have to file it with the register. Okay, but because members need not adopt. But if they are satisfied with the accounts, everything is fine, then they will adopt it. So it should be circulated to the members. Today, no, we don't circulate. Since we don't print it and post it, we rather send an email. Okay. In the case of listed companies, if they post it on the website itself, it's enough. But generally, they send you a link. They will send an AGM notice. Not there, they will say, if you want to read the annual report, follow this link. You can download it. Allowed. All that is allowed in today's electronic age. So today in those days, annual reports, the word annual report means the entire set of financial statements. This complete package is called annual, even though it's called annual report. Though the word is not used in the section, we still refer to it as annual report. And it was a very important document for people like me who are actively engaged in share market portfolio management. We are for building our own portfolios. So we used to wait for these financials to come. And getting it is very difficult because if you're not a shareholder, you won't get it. I had a friend who was a CFO of a company in those days, 20 years ago. He used to have one share each in about 100 companies so that he will get the annual reports of these companies for analysis purpose. But now all that is not required, sir. Touch of a button. You go to the website of that company, or simply you go to moneycontrol.com. I'm sure many of you are familiar with moneycontrol.com. Moneycontrol.com. Where if you go to that company, search for that company, directly to go to the financials, you can get that. 10 years also you can get in one shot. Okay. So this is the set of thing. It will be circulated or published. Published today is published on your website. Means uploaded onto the company's website and capable of being downloaded. That's all. So this is called circulated. Issued, circulated, published. So without the auditor's report, if you do it, that is a violation there. You will see that. It has to be sent to all the members. UDIN has to be. See, UDIN is part of the procedure for digital signature. Absolutely correct. After signing, it has to be also digitally. I have to generate a UDIN. For everywhere, if I sign a certificate or anything I sign, there is a UDIN generated. I think we already spoke about UDIN and how the institute is protecting me through UDIN. It's a great protection. And I've already mentioned about UDIN. Yeah, so in case you don't want to ask a question, do not make a comment like this, because you know why, Abdullah? I get distracted by these comments. Okay. Or you make a full comment so that I will know that you're only making a comment and not asking a question. Okay. So I'm not intelligent enough to know when you are asking a question, when you are making a comment. So kindly make it as a comment. Then I will say, yes, you are right, and I'll go on. Because in your case, Abdul J, you keep on asking a lot of questions. So anything from you, I will take it as a question only. You have more questions than I have answers. My guru, Professor K. Santharaman, used to say, this gentleman has a question for every answer. Okay. But unfortunately, we are all used to giving answers. Rarely we ask questions. And when we don't know, we find our answers. We go to the teacher and we learn from him. Generally, a good student listening to a good teacher and applying his mind, most of the questions should disappear. What remains would only be relevant questions which have been asked by most of you. I'm happy to say those questions are to be answered, which the teacher has left out, or the teacher himself is wrong, or as in one or two cases you corrected me. Especially Dhyanesh does that a lot. Alok does it a lot. I like them for that. They help me out. And beyond that, everything should be clear. Board's report, let us see, I'm not asking question. Sir, board's report is subsection 3, I think, and you mentioned subsection 7 in the slide. So I'll check it up and I will See, don't be so nitpicking about the subsections and all that. Okay, it's okay if I will correct it if necessary. Maybe what could have happened now? I would have been talking about a subsection. In that, I might have a thing. So here I see it's mentioned subsection 7. So don't worry about that. Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If necessary, I will correct it. Yeah, everywhere. But see, today financial statements, why BSE, NSE, SEBI website is there. But better still, you go to the company's own website. You can download. See, you go to the company's website, there are financials. You click on financials. Almost all company websites have financials. There they will give you current financials. Means you will get 22 March now, immediately downloadable. And if you want before 22, you will have to go to archives. If you go to archives, you can download. Maximum 20 years and all, there are companies that have put up. You can download it. Whenever I am doing a research on a company for valuation purpose, I do balance sheet analysis. Because fundamental analysis, you have to do balance sheet. Minimum I take 10 years, 5 to 10 years. If I can get 10 years past balance sheet, it helps me because I can see a better trend and a better movement of that company over a longer period. And it gives me a better approach to prediction of growth. But no way I can predict growth based on past performance, but to an extent I can see a trend there. Good. So that's why I like to go there and do it. This 3-7, I'm not really fair. See, one more thing, I'm caught in a real trap because this was prepared by me long ago. I don't have access to the BAR Act now. So even if I'm wrong, I have to accept what you're saying only. Or even right, I have to accept it. Don't worry. Let us forget the subsection. Section 134. Okay, now, according to Rule 8 of the Companies Accounts Rules 2014, the board's report shall be prepared based on the standalone financial statements of the company and shall report on the highlights of performance of subsidiaries, associates, and joint venture companies only. So you will report about the performance of subsidiaries, etc., in the main board report, which would be based on the standalone financial statement, not on the basis of CFS. Okay. And their contribution to the overall performance of the company during the period under report. See, this board's report is called annual report. When we refer to annual report, we mean board's report. See, going from another perspective, we can understand it, no? See, the shareholders are the owners. The board of directors is the management. You can call this stewardship. They are the stewards. Steward means one who takes care of my property is a steward. The person who takes care of my property is called a steward. So the shareholders have given their property to the stewards, who are the directors. Once in every year, the stewards, the people who are managing the assets and property, should come to the owners and say, hey, last year, this is what happened. We earned so much profit for you. We are happy to give you dividend. Your company did like this. Your company, in fact, if you read the board report, they will always refer us your company, because the board of directors do not own the company. They may be shareholders, but they are not the owners. In their role as board, in their role as directors, they have a duty of fiduciary duty to the shareholder to take care of his property. They are reporting on that now. They are saying, we have taken care of your assets. We have used them for these purposes, and we have earned so much profit. Take it. Or because of these circumstances beyond our control, we made losses, blah, blah. Kindly excuse us, give us some time, we'll do it. Whatever it is a report given by the management to the owner. That's all. Every year, once in every year, it is done. Once you understand this ethics of it and essence of it, this entire, the concept is clear to you. That's all. That is more important, right? Yeah. Thank you anyway for that, Mr. Abdul, regarding this subsection 3-7 and all. I will take care of it. I think I love you, Abdul, because you are so much into details. But what I want you to do from now on, to go above the details, float, and see the full picture. You should attempt it, is all I'm trying to say. For my sake, as a teacher, I'm suggesting this to you. Details are good, important. You will actually make an extraordinarily good accountant because of your penchant for details. But to grow in your organization and become a thing now, you should go above this and to get a bigger view of the overall picture. I would love that you should attempt it. Okay, is what I'm telling. Good. Now, the content of the Board of Directors report, right? The content of the Board of Directors report is given here. I'm giving the broad themes on which the Board of Directors needs to give some, and again, a suggestion, and not to tell you are wrong, you are a big man, you are a highly intelligent person and all. I'm a teacher and you are a student. One sir would actually add a lot of value to your comment. Okay, think about it. Such things make a big difference when you join a large organization, especially when you are communicating by email and all. Okay, I will. Sounds very blunt. Think about it. These small things make a big difference. Okay, not for me, maybe for a future boss. So all the hard work you are going to do and all the nitty-gritty detailing work that you are going to do will not be considered by him. Whereas somebody like me who knows how to talk and who has knowledge will come and impress him and go. This is not the subject of today, but it will become your subject when you complete your intermediate. You will come for advanced MCS. That is why we are having 15 days advanced MCS. Okay. In the meantime, why don't you start picking up small tips like this so that you can communicate more, shall we say, think about it. This is just a suggestion, not relevant for this topic. So kindly don't mistake. Think about it. Okay? In the future, you will have better chance. Knowledge alone may not take you anywhere today. Knowledge is given. Absolute knowledge is given. Over and above that, you need certain behavioral traits that can endear you to the other person and make him want to involve you in higher and higher responsibilities. Always be part of the solution. Never be part of the problem. Okay. Good. Let us see. Is the standalone financial statement and CFS same? No. I think you are not listening at all, na? Vedant? In the initial stage of this class itself, I mentioned the holding company ka sirf its own financials enough, only that, without including the subsidiary, joint venture and associated. Only the holding company's accounts, financial statement. That is called standalone. Then when I bring all this into it and consolidate it, that becomes the CFS. So they are alag. That is why they are saying the board report should be based on the standalone, not on the CFS. Okay. They are not the same. They are not the same. Subsection 7 is correct. It is mentioned as 7 in study material. Agreed. So, no problem. Agreed. I will correct it. Chalo. And I'm also so much impressed by the way, you are so much into that study material. Mug it up and be thorough with it. Sorry, I'm laughing not because you're correct, but think about it. Sometimes, when I'm telling something, go beyond what I'm telling, don't get angry. Think, hey, this fellow has done something, he's telling something, let us be careful. Good. I'll check out this subsection business, yeah. What is the 7.3 thing? I will check it up. And I will, let us take it on advisement. I will check up the subsection business and whatever it is, I'll introduce the correction. Okay? Don't worry. 134.3, 134.7, we will see. Because here, if you see, I have mentioned subsection 7. So, and going forward, see, remembering section number itself is going to be tough. Please do not attempt to remember subsection and all. If you remember 134 Board of Directors report, it's enough. Okay? You don't have to bother. If you are going to muck up subsection level now, it may not be worth it. Don't bother to do that. This is a broader advice. Because sometimes students ask me. In fact, students ask me a bigger question. Should I remember section number and quote in the exam? Actually, no. The correct approach is no. Even if you do not know the section number, you should know the content very well. and the context very well, so that the answer that you give should be as per the law. And to an extent, if you remember the content, the words of the section, that's more important. Even if you forget the section number. But if you remember the section number, it will be an icing on the cake. If you are able to remember section number, subsection numbers, chalo yaar, even if you forget it, it's okay. Maybe 3, 7 confusion. No. But broadly, if you remember the section number, it will be good. How to remember section numbers? I don't know. You keep on reading them, becoming familiar with them, they will be in your memory, that's all. There's no other way of doing it. See, at one point in time, in the 1956 Act, I used to teach it regularly. So when I was preparing for my CA final exam, I fell in love with the law, company law, the old law. And so I read it with a lot of passion. And I used to. So I used to remember almost out of 700 sections of the Companies Act at that time. I used to remember about 250 sections by heart. The content of the section I will know by heart. If you tell me the section, I will quote that section for you. That was the level at which I used to be thorough in the 56th Act. But between you and me, I am not that thorough in the 13th Act. I am not that, because 13th Act is starting to be waste. So I'm not that thorough. So offhand I cannot quote from memory the 13th Act. In those days, the section or subsection I used to know. So I'll have to rely on your comments about this. But point is, you should know the content of the section, which is very, very important. Please try to work on that. And if you can also remember the section number and you quote it now in the exam. See, for example, if a question carries 4 marks, if you have written it correctly, 2.5. Handwriting is good, 3. Section number given correctly with reference and all, 3.5 out of 4. This is how you keep scoring. So like that, if you answer 5 questions like that and get 3.5 out of 4, 4.5 out of 5, even later question that you do not know that well, you write something, for example, 3 marks, they may give you 1 mark, but all these marks built up now will help you. So that would be only addition to that. So which means if you answer all the questions, easily you will get 60 plus. Easily you will get 60 plus. This is my suggestion to you, because you might have your own plans. Okay. Good. Moving on. See, this is quick content. Let's just go through it. What is to be given in the director's report? The web address, if any, where annual return has been placed. As I told you, the annual return or these reports and all will be in the website of the company. So if such a website is there, you have to mention where it is available and where it can be downloaded. Similarly, director's responsibility report. We are going to see that. The director's responsibility report is a specific confirmation by the directors as to certain compliances. We are going to see what that is very shortly, and you may have to remember them well. Declaration of independent directors as to their independence. That is, every year, the independent directors have to confirm that they maintain their independence. How that will be done, you learn in final. In final, there is a separate section, which will, there are 9 subsections. You have to comply, the independent director has to comply, ensure that he is complying with all the 9. Only then he is independent. So he has to confirm this in this declaration in the report. The independent directors have to confirm that they are maintaining their independence. And it has to be done annually, every year, as part of the annual report. Later on, when in final exam, you studying board of directors, at that time, try to link it if you can. Okay. Particulars of contracts or arrangements with related parties in form AOC 2. This again, when you come to final only, you will understand it. 188, section 188 of the Companies Act talks about related party transactions. So, there are certain regulations. And the contracts or arrangements with related parties need to be reported in form AOC 2 in the board of directors. But who is a related party? Visa, definition visa. And when it should be reported, circumstances are in 184 and in 188. So, unless you go there, you can't understand this. So, all you need to know is, when you are having a contract or arrangement with the related party, particulars of that contract is to be reported in the annual report in form AOC 2. Okay. Conservation of energy, technology absorption, foreign exchange earning or saving. If you have attempted anything like that, what are your efforts? How have you conserved energy? Like this can be given by the board of directors. Okay. Suppose they have gone for solar energy, you mention that. Or if you've got a joint venture and now you have totally absorbed the technology, now you are indigenously manufacturing, you have reduced the imports. There is an import substitution. If you are able to reduce the imports, to that extent you can save foreign exchange. So import substitution, where you are able to reduce the imports. You mention all that. See, the idea is, this is all now once published now. If it's a listed company, if it is published, it becomes a public document. Correct? Any person can download it and see it. So in a way, the annual report is a showcase for the company's achievements. Generally, it is a public relations exercise, the way they design the annual report. My suggestion, I've already mentioned to you many times. Once again, I'm suggesting, I'm sure you've already done it. If so, I'm so happy. Otherwise, kindly download the annual report of some well-known listed company and go through it. Just scan through it. PDF form, it is there now. Just download it and go through it. You will suddenly find for example, download a board of directors report of a company and go through it and see how practically they have dealt with all these points. My suggestion, download companies like Ashok Leyland, Dabur. Why? Because they are single products, single businesses, simple balance sheets and simple financial statements. Initially go for that. Then go for conglomerate businesses like ITC, Reliance and all. Before you go. So straight away, if you download Reliance or ITC and start going through it, you go mad. Or specialized companies like banks, insurance companies, don't go first. Initially, go through Ashok Leyland, Dabur and all. Then you are ready for conglomerate stuff. So if you do that, you know what happens? Whatever you are here learning theoretically will become confirmed to you as a practical suggestion for you. Company's policy on directors' appointment and remuneration. Again, this should become public information. See, this is common for all companies. It has to be filed by all companies to their shareholders. Development and implementation of risk management. Today, there is a huge stress on risk management. Okay, in fact, today the word that internal audit as a concept itself is more moving towards risk management, understanding the risk, what type of risk, to which type of risk the company is exposed, and how the company is managing that risk. Okay, that's one thing. In fact, that's a specialization area for many of you if you want to get into internal audit and risk management. How many meetings of board were held? Number of meetings. Details of fraud reported by auditors. Later on, when you come to audit report, we may talk about, of course, I'm not going to cover CARO. The company's auditors report, I'm not going to cover. CAR, I'm not going to cover, because that will be in your auditing. Here it is not there. But the section which gives CARO will be seen here. Okay. So in CARO, if you remember, the auditor needs to report any fraud committed by or against the company. So any such fraud needs to be discussed in the board of directors report. Auditors have reported the fraud. This fraud was identified. It has been stopped and recovery of money has happened. All that you have to mention there. Comments by board on remarks made by auditor and company secretary. Do you remember? Auditor or company secretary may make remarks or highlighted emphasis point or a qualification or a disclaimer. Whatever they have done, you have to give your comment. The board of directors has to give its comment. Also, amounts carrying reserves or paid by way of dividend. So what is the amount of transfer to reserves and how much dividend is being paid? Good news. CSR policy and initiatives. Later on, when we talk about corporate social responsibility, corporate social responsibility. CSR is, expansion is corporate social responsibility. That's a separate topic we'll be seeing as part of this topic. It is a subtopic here. We'll see that. So whatever is the CSR policy you have, the CSR committee has put in place, you have to mention it here. Also, what have you done? Initiatives. What was done by the company as CSR has to be reported. If CSR is applicable to you. See, CSR is not applicable to all companies. If compulsory CSR is applicable to this company, it has to report. But there are companies for which compulsory CSR is not there. Even they do CSR voluntarily. They can also report it if they want. Particulars of loans, guarantees, or investments, etc., made in group companies, like that, you have to give the particulars. Material change affecting financial position, that is, the balance sheet is prepared on a particular date. The board of directors and the auditor are giving a report later. So in between, there could have been some change which affects the financial position of the company. So that has to be disclosed here. Material change. Okay, material change affecting the financial position. Other matters as prescribed. This part of it, you can say matters occurring after the balance sheet date, but having a financial impact on the balance sheet date. For example, a factory was burnt down. It's a classic example. On 31st March, factory was there. In May, it got burnt down, or a major fire accident and damages are there. Just check out if it's a materially affecting the financial position. If it is, then you have to report it to the listed other public companies having paid up share capital of 25 crores or more shall contain statement indicating manner in which format of annual evaluation of the performance of board, its committees, and of individual directors has been made. So this is applicable to listed companies and public companies having paid up share capital of 25 crores or more. Means where 25 crores or more investment is there, an element of public interest is there. Therefore, the management performance. See, the MD can evaluate the performance of the entire team of people, employees, everybody in that company. MD will decide good, bad, ugly. Of course, there will be large companies have their own performance policy and all, but finally, bottom line, MD. Correct. But who will evaluate the MD's performance? Who will evaluate the performance of the board of directors? That policy framework should be, and whether it has been done, should be given. That will be by a separate committee, performance evaluation committee for the board. Obviously, that cannot be done. Who will do it? Who will evaluate the performance of the MD? That is why we've got an independent directors. So the independent directors who are senior people, they will form a committee, evaluate the performance of the board and report to it about it. Okay, that is how it has been. Or you will have to hire an expert, say Price Waterhouse or Grant Thornton, and ask them to evaluate your performance as a service. And they will come out with a report. But bottom line, Baba, tell me one thing. You are getting a fee. Huh? So how much you will report negatively, you tell me. Suppose that fellow is going to commit a fraud and you are able to see it. You mean to say you will go around reporting it? I doubt. See, that is the problem. When the audit fees are so huge, there is an incentive for the firm doing this type of work to be careful, to support the management rather than give negative reports. There's a built-in weakness in this whole system. There's a built-in weakness. Okay. And bringing about that type of independence needs extraordinary human beings. Let's see. I don't know. Okay. It's individual who has to be honest. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult. Yeah. AS4. Great. Corporate office and register office, both are same or not? Kavita ji, under the Companies Act, listen to me, Suniya ji, under the Companies Act, every company should have a registered office. Compulsory. Should have. That could be the corporate office also. But if a company wants to have the corporate office in some other place, no problem. That is not statutory. But all communications, legal communication, notices, etc., will be served only at the registered office, which is to be reported to the ministry. This entire topic we saw earlier. When we saw memorandum, incorporation of company, I told you, every company within 30 days should inform the registrar about the address of the registered office. This could be the corporate office also, but not necessarily. Corporate office can be elsewhere. I even gave an example. A company may be in Madhya Pradesh. Their factory may be in Bhavra in MP. Okay, the nearest city is Indore. Okay, or Mandu, or maybe. But even then they can have it in Bhavra in the factory, registered office. For administrative and other convenience, they can have the corporate office in Indore. Alag-alag. But all statutory notices, etc., will be coming only to the registered office, which should be clearly mentioned in the ministry website by uploading it. Kavitaji, if you have understood it, confirm that you have understood what I said, because this is a very fundamental doubt you are asking. Therefore, I want you to confirm that you have understood. Because if it's a face-to-face class now, I can see your face. I will know that you have understood it. But now I am not able to. So this way you have to, only by you confirming. You can see that sometimes Dhyanesh, Alok and all, they will put clear, sir, understood, like that. Okay. Or Abdul will put okay, like that. Where disclosures referred to in this subsection have been included in the financial statements, such disclosures shall be referred to instead of being repeated in the board's report. Okay. In other words, where you have mentioned certain things in the notes on accounts, in the financial statements as part of the notes, instead of again repeating it in the board of directors report, you can say, for more information, refer to note number 14 in the financial statement. Okay. Where the company's policy on directors' appointment and remuneration regarding CSR is made available on company's website, it shall be sufficient if the requirements, if the salient features are given and the reference is made to the website. Okay, where the complete policy is there. Okay. So where it is available on the website. Usually companies will put up their CSR policy on the website. You can go to any company website, you can see CSR policy will be there. Okay. So, good. Thank you, Ms. Kavita. Thanks for confirming. Now, the central government may prescribe an abridged board's report for the purpose of compliance with this section by one-person company or small company. They have not done anything like that, but they can. Their power is there to prescribe a abridged board's report, which will not have all this stuff. Only where the company's policy on directors' appointment and remuneration, board's report in the case of OPC, one-person company, the report of the board of directors to be attached to financial statement under this section shall mean a report containing explanations or comments by the board on every qualification, reservation, or adverse remark or disclaimer made by the auditor in his report. Friends, let us look at the total, shall we say, fun of this. What is a one-person company? Donkey is the shareholder. Donkey also can be the director, OPC. Or monkey can be the director. But whatever it is, think about it. Hey, it's one person, he is reporting to himself. What nonsense. So they also understand the absurdity of this and say the director's report in this case need not mention all these things for an OPC. Why? Because, sir, I am running that company. I am the one person who is running it. I am director and I am like Solomon versus Solomon. So how would I report? Well, I will report to myself like a schizophrenic person, sitting and talking to himself. I think that will be madness. Therefore, they say no need. But suppose the OPC has been audited and the auditor has come out with some qualification or reservation or adverse remark. That should be answered by the board, which is our man himself or another director. To that extent, only the board of directors report is to be attached to the financial statement. I'm sure you have not understood what I said. If not, I will repeat. Otherwise, I'll continue in case you want me to explain again. Because OPC, the same man is the director. Elaborate, your company has done, and then, oh, thank you, my company has done. Hey, same guy, he's talking to himself. Therefore, they say, let's not go to that absurdity. But if the auditor has given any adverse remark, that's why, because once it is uploaded into the website of the MCA, anybody can see now. At that time, they should know that there is a qualification or reservation by the auditor and the reply given by the directors. Okay. No, there is no self-review thread. I think you are confusing with self. You are using a terminology without understanding its context. Self-review is in a different situation. This is, OPC is meant for self-review only. See, OPC, that's what you have not understood why OPC is there at all. There is no self-review thread. There is nothing. Why? Sir, go back to my original example. The directors are the stewards. The owners are different. Directors are different. Alag. Only then there is a need for the steward to explain to the owner. Here, the owner himself is the steward. Why should he explain to himself? It is not about self-review. It is about the absurdity of the whole thing. Self-review is different, where I am doing one work in one role, and in another role, I am asked to comment about it and certify it. That is very dangerous. Auditor, that is called self-review, not to be used in this context. Please, self-review is a good term, but not to be used in this context. It is only applicable when you come to ethics, professional ethics, the auditor's professional ethics. There we are not allowed to do self-review. That is, I cannot prepare the accounts and also audit it. Okay? There is an independence threat there. There is a threat to my independence. Therefore, self-review. So only in the context of auditing and auditors, you should use self-review. In this context, please do not use self-review. Okay, good. Now we come to another important concept, my dear friends, called Director's Responsibility Statement. Okay, before I go there, today there will be no break. And I will be closing this session early at 8:45. Because I have to attend a function for which I have to drive for 1.5 hours. And I need to start a little early for that. Therefore, kindly permit me to do that. I've already informed the institute. But this, whatever that 45 minutes which you are technically losing, I will make it up in a future classes when I will need extra little bit, 15 minutes, I'll go and we'll finish. Or I may not give a break and I will continue like that and I will finish it. Okay. This is my humble request to you and looking forward to your support. Thank you. Director's Responsibility Statement. This is an important part of the Board of Directors report. See, directors have certain responsibilities under the Act. These later on, in fact, you will find when you come to final, directors have duties also. Now, they may not perform it to their correct way. Later on, if the law goes to them and catches them by the collar, they can say, hey, I'm an engineer. I'm an uneducated person. I don't know all these things. I'm not aware. Like that. Sort of a stupid defense that they can use. So they say, hey, every year you fellows, at the board meeting, it is tabled now, only 2 are signing, but everybody is reviewing it. So there consciously you answer these questions. Tomorrow you cannot come back and say, I was not aware that accounting standards have to be followed. Now you are aware now. You are telling clearly now. You are telling, you are confirming, you the directors are confirming that the applicable accounting standards had been followed along with proper explanation. Suppose later on it is discovered that the accounting standards are not followed, the director cannot come and quietly say, no, I'm not responsible for it like that. See, 129, why imprisonment is not removed, I'll tell you. Thanks to one important point, Satyam. Yeah, in fact, from now on, as we go into the next topic and all, you will find that Satyam scam has been a game changer as far as Companies Act is concerned. Okay, I'm not going to talk about it now, but I'm going to do it. But all I'm saying is, the directors cannot come and tell, I'm not aware of all these things, because you confirmed in writing that the applicable accounting standards had been followed, and now it's not followed. So tell me what happened. So when the the Serious Fraud Investigation Office is doing third degree on these fellows, they can clearly ask them, you fellows, you signed it. Now how you can say you didn't know? Without knowing why you signed that paper like that, they can be questioned. So it is the duty of the directors to understand whether the accounting standards have been followed. Okay, it's a very, very tough proposition, but how engineer will know all these things? He has to learn it. Okay, so that's why audit committee. That's if there's an audit committee, then they are safe. It's the problem of the audit committee to ensure that account. And of course, they are a committee of the board, and they have to refer the matter to the board. Board will approve. Basically, the board has to take responsibility for applicability of accounting standards, following them correctly. The directors had selected such accounting policies and applied them consistently and made judgments and estimates that are reasonable and prudent, so as to give a true and fair view of the state of affairs of the company at the end of the financial year and of the profit and loss for that period. See, The auditor certifies that the company or the balance sheet reveals a true and fair view of the state of affairs of the company, etc., etc. But it is the duty of the directors to ensure that the accounts give a true and fair view. I am only auditing. It is their job. If it is not revealing true and fair view, I will say it is not. But to ensure that it reveals true and fair view is their responsibility, not auditor's responsibility. Yeah. Why I make it clear auditor? Because I am a member of the institute in the attest function. Therefore, I can only see from the POV of an auditor. And I am not a director in any company, nor will I become a director in any company. Unless, if at all they make me an independent director, any company, I may accept. But active day-to-day management of director, I will never take in my life. So long as I am a practicing chartered accountant. So long as I am a practicing chartered accountant, I will not become a director of any company. And so as to receive remuneration, etc., etc. Never. Even if it's not conflicting with my professional conduct now, still I would not be a director of any company. Okay. It leads to all sorts of problems. You see, so better avoid it at threshold level and be comfortable. What extra income you will get from there, I will earn it from my practice. Little more work I do, 3 more clients I service, I'll get that money. Why be a director, take some fees, then that fellow will do Dubakur, all sorts of fraud, then my name will get cut. Why all that? Why all that? Even independent director, I may not. Because most of these fellows are Dubakur fellows and they will be putting us in trouble. And imagine if I'm a director there and that company gets into trouble, my entire client's name will go because that fellow, he was the director in that company, his client. So why get into this? So I will never accept appointment as a director of any company. Okay. This is my view. Not that you should take this view, not the view of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. There is no such prohibition for a member to be a director. Many members are directors. This is my view. Yeah, I can't become auditor of that company, but I am saying I will never become director of any company. Okay. There are companies where I don't want to be auditor. They want me to be director. I will not be then also. Why? Yeah, it's not worth it. That fellow will also do some nonsense and then I will be in trouble for no reason at all. However much we try to monitor, it's difficult. So I can give you 100 examples of senior chartered accountants who got into unnecessary trouble by becoming director of companies and supporting the director. It's not a good idea. Of course, it's a great name my name, I'm a director of that company, I'm a director of that company, but it has a downside also, very serious downside. Anyway, as I am clearly telling you, this is not part of this syllabus or anything. It is a view given by a senior member to potential members. One view which you could keep in your mind. When Dubakur Limited wants you to be the director, when they lure you with all sorts of sitting fees and other things, remember the words told by an aged man and try to avoid that unnecessary risk. The directors had taken proper and sufficient care for the maintenance of adequate accounting records in accordance with the provisions of this Act, for safeguarding the assets of the company and for preventing and detecting fraud and other irregularities. Friends, this is the duty of the directors to take sufficient care and all. They want them to confirm this in writing that they have taken. Because tomorrow they cannot come back and say, hey, I didn't know that this is my duty, like that. Sorry, it is your duty. You yourself have to confirm that you have done it. And in case it is not taken, later it is shown that such care was not taken, brother, you are in serious trouble. The directors have prepared the annual accounts on a going concern basis. Okay. The directors in the case of a listed company had laid down internal financial controls to be followed by the company, and that such internal financial controls are adequate and were operating effectively. See, internal control is not the business of the auditor. I am auditing on a day. On that day, I know how to audit it. I know how to ensure that true and fair view and all. But whether internal control is there or not is not my business. I may see the internal control in the preparation of the internal financial statements. I may even go through an internal control review quickly. Sample audit in depth I may do just to check that basic. But the primary responsibility for ensuring that internal control, financial controls are being followed is with the directors and the directors only. Also, the directors have devised proper systems to ensure compliance with the provisions of, I have highlighted that word, of all applicable laws. All. and that such systems were adequate and operating effectively. So today, becoming a director of a company is a very, very dangerous thing, because you have to be aware of all laws and you should ensure compliance with that. It's a gargantuan task. That is why most board of directors generally hire CA firms, legal firms, company secretaries to do thorough analysis and give them views. And in spite of that, I've seen many companies knowingly disobey the law. Somebody comes and tells them, you don't have to do this. They take some stupid opinion from them, keep it. Then they get into deep trouble. It's okay. So long as they think they are complying with the law, they honestly believe. See, suppose there's a TDS provision. Some stupid opinion is given that it is not deductible, or it is deductible like this and all. And these fellows decide to rely on that and don't do. Then, okay, to an extent they are protected because they were advised accordingly and they took. But even then you have common sense. No, you should have your own brain. No, should think, right? This is my view. So the board's report and any annexures thereto shall be signed by chairperson, where authorized by the board, 2 directors, of which one shall be managing director. So the financial statement is signed by chairperson and all. Similarly, the board report also should be signed by either the chairperson alone, where authorized by the board, or 2 directors, out of which one shall be MD, if any. So this is there. 134(8) contravention. Company will be punished with a fine of 3 lakhs and every officer 50,000. We move on to 136. 135 will be covered later, don't worry. Let's see. So, thank you for your permission and understanding more than anything else. So, write to members to copies of audited financial statement. So, the copies of audited financial statement plus consolidated financial statement plus audit report plus other document should be sent to every member. This is the circulation. Somebody asks, no, what is the circulation? That is circulated. Should be sent. Usually nowadays, we don't send a physical copy. We rather send a electronic mail, email attachment. Every member, every trustee for debenture holders, if there are any debentures and debenture trustees. Other persons, for example, if you are a listed company, under the listing agreement, you have to send it to stock exchange and SEBI, so on and so forth. If you are borrowed money from a bank, as per the bank loan, and when you took the bank loan, you would have agreed in one of the clauses you will have every year after the audit is completed, we will submit the annual financial statements to you. You would have agreed. If you read the entire loan agreement in the small print, you will find it there. So your duty to submit to them. Like that, wherever there's such statutory or contractual obligations are there, you have to comply with it. So the financial statement, all this thing put together, should be circulated not less than 21 days before the general meeting. Got it? You link it later on when you come to the topic on AGM, annual general meeting. Link this 21 days with that. Because there you will read that the notice for the annual general meeting should be given not less than 21 clear days before the meeting. Okay. You might wonder why it doesn't say AGM, annual general meeting. Because financial statements are, if financial statements are approved at the annual general meeting, it is an ordinary business. But it may be adopted at a meeting other than annual general meeting also. That is why they say general meeting and not annual general meeting. But whatever it is, the financial statement should be circulated not less than 21 days before the general meeting. Got it? I have not skipped anything. It will be coming. I'm just logically I'm going through logical way of teaching. That's all. I have not skipped anything. Okay? I have not skipped anything. I see, that is where you'll find my approach may be a little irritating to some of you who blindly follow the institute material. You'll be seeing that the institute material it's almost a reproduction of the Bare Act order. Section-wise only it will come. In my case, I may try to do it a little bit in topically. So that is why you will find in some cases, I may skip. The word skip is correct. I skip it so that I can come back to it later. Sir, Kavita, when we studied debentures, we saw debenture trustees. Am I correct? Whenever the company issues secured debentures, they have to appoint trustees, debenture trustees. That trustee is what we are talking about here. The trustee for debenture holder. If you want to have some doubt, you go to the debenture topic material. There you will find every company should appoint a debenture trustees who will represent the debenture holders for the purpose of collecting the principal amount back, interest, all actions and all can be taken by the debenture trustees on behalf of the debenture holders. So the financial statement should be sent to the trustee for the debenture holders. Okay. Many of you are not concentrating on the topic when I am teaching it. You are more busy thinking of questions. So you'll remember better if you concentrate. Open your mind and concentrate. Okay. I read a nice Zen story yesterday. Nice Zen story. It's a koan where a Zen master tells his student, meditate until you can hear the sound of one arm clapping. Meditate until you can hear the sound of one arm clapping. So the student doesn't understand. He hears one sound. He thinks that is one arm clapping in the number. So then finally he really gets into it and he reaches one core level where he hears. He can't hear because if one arm is clapping, what will be the sound? Nothing. Silence is the sound of one arm clapping. The sound of one arm clapping is silence. And so once you become silent now, allow your mind itself to stop putting all sorts of thoughts there, questions. Suddenly you will find the subject goes in with a lot of clarity. I am telling from personal experience. It's only when you keep like that question, then the subject is not going in. The teacher is not able to teach. I'm just giving this as a broad idea. Sorry if I'm irritating you. Okay, but the idea is keep the mind open, allow it to flow. Then you'll remember also better, is the point. Because I also have this unfortunate weakness that I speak a little fast. That is why, I speak slowly nowadays. Because my thoughts are very fast, I speak fast. So this has been a complaint about me as a teacher in those days and all. Slowly, I have slowed down my delivery, but still I need to slow down more, is what I feel. For Section 8 company, the financial statement shall be sent not less than 14 days before the date of AGM. You can relate this later when you come to AGM provision. There again, you will find notice of AGM for a Section 8 company can be sent not less than 14 clear days before the date of meeting. Okay? One arm cannot clap. You are being logical. But the sound of that is silence. I mean, it's too deep for you, Abdul. Ignore it. I didn't even say this. Ignore it. Of course, you are at the original level of that Zen student. Initially, this is exactly the reaction he gives to his master. This is exactly what he says. One arm cannot clap full. Like that he told. Then slowly, he understood what the master was telling him. Maybe you will understand, Abdul, later on in your life. Inshallah. Okay. Manner of circulation of financial statement in certain cases. Financial statements are to be sent not less than 21 days before the date of the meeting. If the copies of these documents are sent less than 21 days before the date of meeting, they shall, notwithstanding that fact, be deemed to have been duly sent if agreed to by the number of members as stated below. See, the rule is it should be spent not less than 21 days before the meeting. Suppose it is sent less than 21 days for some emergencies. What to do? Circumstances. Then they are giving a solution. Even if you send it less than 21 days, in spite of that, notwithstanding that fact, in spite of that, it shall be deemed to have been duly sent if agreed to by the number of members. So if the sufficient number of members agree, then even if it is less than 21 days, it is allowed. In other words, this is the general rule. This is the exception. For that, how many should agree? By a majority in number entitled to vote, representing not less than 95% in value of paid up capital. So majority in number, suppose there are 20 shareholders, 11 should agree. Those 11 people together should hold 95% in value of the paid up capital. Or better still, I'll tell you a better example. Suppose 20 people are there, then 18 agree. And that 18 people together hold 95% in value of the paid up capital. Then even though lesser days are given, it is acceptable. So what happens is, we give lesser notice, then we also ask them to confirm. So if they send the confirmation back, and if majority number agreed, then it is acceptable. If not, it is violation. What you need to do is, at that meeting, you have to adjourn it, give 21 days notice, and again call for that adjourned meeting. You can do it. There is only other solution. If they don't, see, you will ask me that question, in case they don't agree, what to do? In case they don't agree, you have to, this meeting is called, that meeting you have to say, sorry, we gave you less than 21 days. Now, we will hold the meeting later. We will give you notice, etc. Okay. Company not having share capital, in case members having not less than 95% of the total voting power. Same thing, sir. Same thing. Maybe it's a typographical error. In both cases, it can be anything. AGM or general meeting. It can be anything. Okay. I feel like I'm being audited by you, all of you. Anyway. Navyu Chemicals Limited, an unlisted public company, has 200 members. Its paid up share capital is rupees 50 lakhs, consisting of 5 lakh shares of rupees 10 each. The company is proposing to hold its AGM on 28/9/2021. There was a delay in submission of accounts for audit, and hence signed financial statements were ready only on 10/9/2021. The company has obtained the consent of 160 members who are holding 45 lakhs. Can they proceed to circulate the financial statements less than 21 days before the meeting? So you need to check whether, see, the company has a share capital. The company has a share capital. Therefore, majority in number representing not less than 95% in value. So what you need to do is see whether 50 lakhs, 95% is there. So 45 lakhs is the bit they are holding. So 45 divided by 50 into comes to only 90%, whereas you need 95%. Am I correct? So see, majority number is there. Out of 200 members, if 101 agree, it's enough. But they 160 have agreed. But though there is a majority in number, they are not 95%. See, 95%. It is 90%. Therefore, it is not, they have not complied with this. Alok says company can proceed. Let us see. Please check the condition. It is not enough if there is a majority in number. They should also represent 95% in value. So, check out. How did you get the answer, Alok ji? Okay, I hope the answer I gave is clear. Correct. They cannot go. Correct. Abdul is giving the beautifully answer. Very good. No, they cannot. Although more than 1/2% in number is agreed, but they are only holding 90%. Correct. That's all. Simple question. I think this was an exam question. I think so. Unless I have designed it myself and given. From me an example given in the institute. Good. So, every member is entitled to a copy of the audited financial statement. In the case of a listed company, see here you are saying we have to circulate, right? In the case of a listed company, the provision of 136(1) shall be deemed to be complied with if the copies of the documents are made available for inspection at its registered office during the working hours for a period of not less than 21 days, or along with it, a statement containing the salient features of documents of AOC 3 or copies of the documents as the company may deem fit is sent to every member of the company and to every trustee, etc. The statement is to be sent not less than 21 days before the meeting of the company, unless the shareholders ask for a full financial statement. So the AOC 3 format gives the abridged form. You can send it, but I have not seen this. Most listed companies send the entire financial statement. So members are also entitled. Members can inspect the financial statement, etc. So a company shall allow every member or trustee means trustee for the debenture holder trustee, to inspect the documents at the registered office, provided that every company having subsidiary or subsidiaries shall provide a copy of the separate audited or unaudited financial statements as prepared in respect of each of its subsidiary to any member of the company who asks for it. So, if you are a member of the holding company, you are entitled to a copy of the financial statement of the subsidiary. All listed companies, public companies which have a net worth, all listed companies and public companies crore rupees and turnover of more than 10 crore rupees. Okay. The way in which they will circulate is prescribed here, where the shares are held in dematerialized form. Yes. Then automatically by electronic mode. See, whenever you create a DP account with a depository participant, you will be giving an email ID. For all intents and purposes, that is your official email ID for all communications from any company in which you are buying a share or etc., etc. Because they will simply take it from the DP, your DP ID. And to that email ID, they will send an electronic mode. If you have changed that email ID, you go to the DP and do a change again through the process given by the DP. Usually, the DP will give you a user ID password. You go there, change the email address and come. Okay. You will get it into that email ID only by electronic mode. Shares are not held in dematerialized form. In case of this, could be only for public companies which are not listed and having net worth of more than 1 crore, etc. So, it can be given by electronic mode if consent is received in writing, or you will have to dispatch physical copies by recognized mode. Please note, if it is a listed company, shares have to be compulsorily held in dematerialized form. So, the answer should be yes only. You cannot have a situation for a listed company where the shares are not if it is not held in dematerialized form, the listed company cannot give any mail. That's your share will be where it will be till you go there, fall at his feet, get it dematerialized through a DP account. Only then you will get all communications. Till then, you cannot claim anything from the company because the law was amended and requested you to go and get it dematerialized. If you have not done it, whose problem is that? Think about it. And in many cases, the dividend will be transferred. And for 7 years, if it is not, it will be transferred to the IEPF account. And the share also will be transferred to the IEPF. You have to go to the IEPF and request them to retransfer. Then it will come to your DP. It's a pain. And in many cases, some people have not even dematerialized them. So, physical form, you have to surrender the physical certificate. Then the company will dematerialize it, confirm to the IEPF. It is a pain. If you have not dematerialized it, better go and get the share dematerialized if it is a listed company. And finally, bottom line, if it is not held in dematerialized form, you cannot deliver it on an electronic stock exchange. You cannot give online delivery. And if you cannot give online delivery, you cannot sell it through a recognized stock exchange. Okay. So get it dematerialized. So 136 again contravention, company penalty of 25,000 and officer penalty of 5,000. 137 talks about filing of financial statement with registrar. Okay. Now we come to the point. Did you hold a AGM or not? And were the accounts adopted? So whether the accounts are adopted or not, the financial statements are to be filed with the registrar. Okay. Adopting or not adopting is the member's prerogative. So we have certain options. First question, was the AGM held? Did the company comply with that? Yeah, it was held. In that meeting, at the AGM, we presented the accounts to these donkeys. Did they adopt it? They adopted it. That's all. Enjoy. The financial statement has to be filed to the registrar within 30 days of the date of AGM. Remember 137? This is one compliance. If you do not do, many of the exemptions will not apply. Private company, if you want to enjoy exemption, it should have filed the financial statement in accordance with section 137. This is that 137. Okay. So everything is great. Yeah. You held your AGM on time. The members came. They saw the accounts. They adopted it. That's it. Within 30 days of the date of AGM, you have to file your financial statement. Good. Okay. You held the AGM. Members came. You presented the accounts, audited accounts. They said, no, we are not convinced. It is not adopted. Unadopted in AGM or even in urgent AGM. What you do? You tell them, hey, Baba, you call them again for an urgent AGM, give explanation, etc. They are not convinced. We are not happy. We will not adopt. See, you cannot force the shareholders to adopt. Okay. Even if it is not adopted, then it should be filed within 30 days of the AGM. And the registrar will take them as provisional in the records. Suppose it is adopted in adjourned AGM, then within 30 days of that meeting. But if it is not adopted at all, then it will be provisional and it will be stated as such. So that the world will know that these accounts are not adopted by the members. And see, this is not the end of the story. 137 compliance over, you have filed it. But then the registrar will wake up and he will be wondering, hey, what is happening here? Why is this company not adopting the accounts? Something wrong with these fellows. So they will come for an investigation. First, they will come for inspection. Then they will go for full-fledged investigation. So, non-adoption of accounts by members in AGM is a trigger for investigation into the affairs of the company. Why? Because if the members are not adopting, then something seriously wrong. Along with that, our auditor also will be called. What happened here? You audited, they are not adopting. How come? Then you should have qualified. Have you qualified? See that if the auditor is qualified, then no problem. See, suppose the auditor has made 5 qualifications, very material. Remember, with that qualification, the directors are going to the shareholders. And in the board of directors report, they are giving some bullshit. Some bullshit they are giving, saying that this auditor is told like this, but that is not so. We are good company, blah, blah, blah. But not convincing. Then auditor is free. Because I have qualified. I have told very clearly, I have informed the members, see, your directors are doing like this. Of course, that is why, we are appointed for 5 years. We cannot be removed. Just because we are not giving them a clean report, the directors cannot threaten us. Minimum 5 years appointment. If you want to remove me, we'll see. When we come to auditors portion, we will talk about the procedure for removal of an auditor. Very powerful. You want to remove me, let us see, Baba. We'll see how you're going to remove me. Come on. So now we got power. See, that way, I'm anti-MCA in a way, but not in this regard. Some of the provisions of auditors are very powerful for us. Actually, the MCA has protected us. We should thank them for giving us that protection. Earlier, the auditor had to be appointed every year. And every year, the board of directors will have that hold over him, reappointment and all. So now it's not possible. 5 years. If you want to remove me in the meantime, in the middle, well, we will see. Come, there's a procedure for that. We'll see. You can't quietly do it. Madam, AGM is held. At the AGM, the accounts are presented to the shareholders. Then the chairman of the meeting will say, if adopting means accepting. So the shareholders say, yes, we are happy with the accounts, like that. If they are not adopting it, even then, you should file the document, that financial statement, unadopted financial statement, within 30 days of that AGM, you should file it with the registrar. File means upload. Whenever I use the word file, I mean upload. It should be uploaded. Now the registrar will get it now. If it is, in fact, when you upload that form, they will ask you, has it been adopted, like that? If you say unadopted, then it will be recorded as provisional. That means not complete. See, when they give you a provisional certificate in college, what does it mean? It is not complete. Later on, they will give you final certificate, proper certificate, which will be the official certificate. Till such time, for temporary purpose, provisionally, they will give you a certificate. So like that, provisionally, he will take it. Suppose that AGM is adjourned, then the explanations are given. Members adopt it at the adjourned AGM. Then the adopted accounts can be filed with the registrar within 30 days of that meeting. Then the loop is closed. But suppose at the adjourned meeting also they are not adopting, then these accounts will be with the registrar in provisional form. That's all. Later, what to do? You don't go beyond that. It's provisional. That's all. For everybody up, that's the end of story for the company. They will be investigated. So, which is why convince your shareholders to adopt the accounts. That is the only way. Have you understood, Prachiji? Just confirm that you have understood. Sir, if you have read it now, that is good. Nidhi Company Provision, you are aware. Very good. Thank you. Sir, don't keep following the institute material and asking me. If you have something in the institute material which I have not covered, my apologies. But you read that. Maybe I felt it is not important and I left it. It's my prerogative. And you read it and don't audit, continuously audit me. Or rather audit me by hearing my lecture. Please. You think that is important, then, and I have missed it out, chalo hai, let's leave it. Okay. According to me, if I have not covered it, it is not important for the exam point of view. So that much freedom I should have as a teacher to decide what is important. But otherwise, why you waste your time? Yeah, I will read the institute material for you and go. I'll just read the institute material. You understand? Why waste? I will just read it out. Or you have somebody to read out the institute material for you. Why teach? I will decide what is important, how to present it, how to teach it. If I'm not teaching something, you learn it and you say that I have not covered it and go. Abdul, understand my feeling. Because you are also a student. Have a student mode. See, that's what. Think about it. I don't want to go further into this. Think about it. I'm giving you so many inputs, Abdul. You're not listening. Because the approach that you are taking is not very conducive for exam purpose. The student who is successful in exam is one who understands the principles broadly and appreciates the law. And therefore, he will be prepared better in the exam. The student who tries to read everything, nook and cranny, goes there and worries about not knowing it and all, generally find it difficult in the exam. Okay, this is my humble view. Still, some students feel that if they can memorize the entire institute material thoroughly, every small bit they should know, then the 100% they will clear the exam. No. Students who read selectively clear the exam. Students who attempt to read everything waste their time reading things that are not important. In that process, they sometimes even leave out important things and they go there without that knowledge or understanding. So, I don't know how else to present my case to you, Mr. Abdul, but try to understand what I'm saying. Every detail, everything, if you want to study and go, you study and go. Okay? Because when I wrote the exam and I got 65 in my paper, I did not study everything. I studied what was important from the exam point of view, made a judicial guess, and I went there. So that is my view. As a student, that is how I was. And I never wasted my time asking faculty, what is this, what is that small? You have left that out, you have left this out. Chalo, he left it out. If I think it's important, I will study it and go. Maybe it is not important, then I will also accept it is not important, leave it and go. Okay? That's my humble view. In fact, one of our greatest teachers, I'm not mentioning his name here for certain reasons, he used to tell us specifically, don't study one topic completely. He used to tell us, it is not worth it. There's no point. The questions are less. We will not study. This is the reliance and trust we placed on our teachers in those days. Okay. And so think about it. It's up to you to adopt on. I'm not doing that. I'm covering, by and large, I'm covering all the points. Small nook and cranny, if it is left out, leave it here. Don't waste my time. And especially don't waste other people's time. Not held. See, AGM itself is not held. Even then, the documents are to be filed with the registrar, together with the statement of facts and reasons for not holding AGM. And you should file it with the registrar within 30 days of the last date before which the AGM should have been held. See, this big thing happened in pandemic. During pandemic, AGM could not be held for obvious reasons. So they then came out all sorts of things. Ministry of Corporate Affairs, they gave electronic meeting option, e-meeting. Even that could not be done by many companies. They kept on extending the due date, etc. So like that. So that extended due date became compulsory. Like that. Ministry also will take care. During the pandemic, they kept on extending dates for everything. But in case the company has not held the AGM, still they have to file the documents with the registrar with the statement of facts and reasons for not holding the AGM. This XBRL is an interesting concept according to the MCA only. It helps. See, the idea is the extensible business reporting language is a method by which when you upload it in the XBRL format, the data language is also uploaded along with that. So people can directly take that document and use it for analysis. So based on that links, it will clearly give where is sales, where is budget. So any software can go there and collect it. So when I'm writing bots for collecting data from these company documents, if I am also using XBRL data language, I can collect the information fast. Therefore, in order to facilitate that and part of the technology drive, MCA has introduced a concept called XBRL. Okay. So the format for XBRL is certain class of companies shall file their financial statements and other documents in e-form AOC 4 in XBRL format. Who are they? Companies listed with stock exchanges in India and their Indian subsidiaries. Companies are, or if there is nothing, then it is or. Companies having paid up capital of 5 crore rupees or more, or companies having turnover of 100 crore rupees or more. All companies which are required to prepare their financial statements in accordance with the Ind AS. Okay. Now, so the companies which have filed their financial statements in XBRL shall continue to file their financial statements and other documents in XBRL form, though they may not form under that class in the succeeding years. In succeeding years, suppose their turnover has fallen or the paid up capital has come down, even then, or the Ind AS is not applicable to them, even then they have to follow Ind AS. Even then they have to give XBRL. Okay, is the rule. The financial statements of a one-person company is to be filed within 180 days from the closure of the financial year, right? If the company is having subsidiaries which are not audited in the country of origin, then they should file in India a format similar to the format prescribed in Companies Act. Even though it is not audited, we have to provide that here. If financial statement is not in English, it has to be filed along with the translated copy. For example, you have a Japanese subsidiary. The Japanese subsidiary is not audited. Even then, you have to file a similar format in India, as prescribed in India, along with the financial statements, which could be translated into English. There's a penalty for contravention. Company, a fine of 10,000 rupees. And in case of continuing failure, 100 up to a maximum of 2 lakh rupees per day. Per day, 100 up to 2 lakh. Managing director, CFO, or there is no managing director, no CFO, then any other director who is charged by the board with the responsibility, or if such a director is not there, then all the directors are liable for a fine of 10,000 rupees. See, the primary responsibility for filing, etc., is with the MD and the CFO. So that's why they have to be very careful, because other directors are not liable. Only if there is no MD and there is no director charged, no CFO, then all will become liable. Because financial awareness may not be there with all directors. So they can simply entrust it to the MD and the CFO, or they can charge a director for this purpose, then they only will be affected. Other directors will not be liable. See, now Mr. Manoj Kumar Thakur should be happy. Suddenly 130 is coming back. Yeah, I will not follow the section order. Because, see, there is one series of thoughts. Beginning with financial statement, we come Board of Directors report, filing, etc. 137, logically we conclude. Now I am going back to 130. Now that you know the entire topic relating to financial statement, etc., now you are ready to understand reopening and all that. Suppose I start with 130, I will not do that. You get my point? There is a conscious decision that I have taken as a teacher. That is why I am a teacher. I am not here to read the Board of Studies material to you, I hope. If you want a guy to read the Board of Studies material, I am sure you will get somebody for that, not me. Okay. Now, this 130 is a very, very recent, shall we say, provision of the Companies Act. Normally, the accounts of a company shall not be reopened, revised or recast once it is laid at an AGM and approved by members. So, reopening means, after all, it is audited, adopted by the members at an AGM, filed with the register and all, approved and all. How can we reopen it and it's not allowed normally. But under certain special cases, the Companies Act has now made it possible for reopening. Okay. Once an order is passed under this section for revision or recasting, it shall be final. When it will be done, we will see that. Order for reopening shall not be made in respect of reopening of books of account relating to a period earlier than 8 financial years immediately preceding the current financial year. So, maximum we can go back only 8 financial years. Exception, where a direction has been issued by the CG for keeping of books of account for a period longer than 8 years. When there is, go back to the slide, you will see that. You remember I told you, normally what is the period we know, 8. But in case there is an investigation, CG can extend the period for holding. When that CG has passed such a direction, then this period will also be extended. It can be longer than 8 years. See, if the accounts are not adopted 100%, the investigation will happen. When the investigation happens, they will say, complete financials for 15 years, keep it ready. I will come and audit anything. I will come and investigate anything. What is the procedure for reopening? Quickly, I'll cover this and then we can move on. Application to be made. No, I'll suggest one idea. Let me see if you have any more questions. No. If you have any questions, quickly put them up. Recast means casting means totaling. Casting means totaling. So when I'm having a column of figures and I total them, it's called casting. Suppose the total is wrong. Recasting means retotaling and coming to the correct total. Okay? That is what recast means. So, the application is to be made by central government or SEBI or any other person concerned, income tax authorities, etc. Or any statutory regulatory body. So, this is not done by the company. This is done by some other body. Central government, income tax, SEBI, another person, statutory regulatory. Then that application is made to the court or tribunal. Then the court or tribunal passes an order to the effect that, see, because when the act was passed, tribunal had not fully been formed. So to that extent, court was given. Now tribunal. So the court or tribunal passes an order that the relevant earlier accounts were prepared in fraudulent manner, or the affairs of the company were mismanaged, casting a doubt. Here the word casting is different. See the English language. Here casting means throwing. The word casting has so many meanings. English, same word will have many, many meanings. One meaning totaling, another meaning throwing. So, or creating. So, affairs of the company were mismanaged, raising or creating or casting a doubt on the reliability of the accounts. See, friends, this provision is thanks to Satyam. When Satyam scam came to light, by then 3 years, 4 years over. Now, those accounts were obviously wrong. The great Ramalinga Raju had created false accounts, supported by the great audited company, Pricewaterhouse. Now, these accounts are wrong. Now, such accounts cannot be allowed to continue. So, and there was no provision in the Companies Act for recasting. So, as a special case, they did it. But now they have brought it into the law itself. Suppose there is an investigation. At the end of the investigation, it is discovered that accounts are fraudulent. Everything is created wrongly. Now it has to be corrected, right? Boosted sales has to come down. Profit has to come down. And that should be carried forward till it reaches the current year opening balance. So that is why they give this power. This was typically because of Satyam. After that, I doubt if any company would have reopened its accounts, though the provision is there. And when Satyam came, this provision is not there. It had to be specially ordered by the court in the Satyam case to do it. Okay. Otherwise, see, Ramalinga Raju has boosted the sales, but boosted the profit. Reserves is boosted. FDs are wrongly shown. Current year's accounts are wrong. How to correct the current year account? I have to bring the opening balance now. So I have to go back to that year, recast, or as you can see now, revise. And then the corrected accounts keeps coming forward. Opening balance. Finally, it becomes the opening balance for my current year. Only then I can give the true and fair view for current year, right? That is why this provision is there. Okay. Because the fraud will come to light later on. Only then we'll have to. So they are very much sure that more frauds will happen and that they have given this provision for recasting. Babre. Notice to be served to applicants and other persons concerned. Company has nothing to do with this. Company keep your mouth shut. Take representation into consideration if any by other persons, and finally they'll pass an order to revise or recast, and that order will be final. No appeal, nothing. Okay. So today we have covered up to 130. We'll move on to 131, 132, etc. in my next class. Thank you for your, as usual, wonderful support and guidance. And we go on for the next class on. That is tomorrow evening. Inshallah, we'll complete the topic. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye.